अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। उम्मीद करता हूँ तमाम देखने और सुनने वाले खैरियत से होंगे, ठीक ठाक होंगे। नाज़रीन, जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि हम रोज़ाना आपके सामने एक नई वीडियो साथ पेश करने होते हैं। तो इसी तरह जो टॉक विद चैटजीपीटी हमारा सेशन जारी है, इसका पार्ट 5 गोल के हवाले से हमारे डिस्कशन में है। तो चलते हैं चैटजीपीटी की तरफ और साथ है वो शुरू करते हैं चैटजीपीटी से डिस्कशन।
उनको फोन कर दे यार फिर।
Hello ChatGPT, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I hope you're doing well too. How can I assist you today?
So ChatGPT, discussion of the topic goals. So some question on this topic related. Are you ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready. Feel free to ask any questions you have about goals and we can dive right in. Let's get started.
So we'll start. My first question: why does instability discourage investment?
Great question. Instability discourages investment for several reasons. First, it creates uncertainty, which makes it harder for investors to predict future returns or risks. Second, instability can lead to sudden policy changes, making the business environment unpredictable. Third, it can increase the perceived risk of loss, leading to higher costs of capital or even withdrawal of existing investments. Overall, stability is key for investor confidence and long-term planning.
Why do people come out on the stress?
People often come out on the streets for several reasons. Typically, it's driven by a desire to express their dissatisfaction or to advocate for change, whether it's related to political issues, economic grievances, social justice, or human rights. Protests and demonstrations can also be a way for people to unite and amplify their voices, especially when they feel their concerns aren't being heard through conventional channels. Essentially, it's a form of collective expression and a push for accountability and reform.
Why is there no trust between government and opposition, and why is a national recognition difficult?
The lack of trust between government and opposition often arises from political rivalries, historical tensions, and differing ideologies, accusations of corruption, lack of transparency, and the politicization of institutions further erode confidence. Additionally, mutual suspicion and a lack of meaningful dialogue create barriers to cooperation. As for national reconciliation, it can be difficult because it requires both sides to set aside their differences and engage in genuine dialogue, which often involves compromises and trust-building measures. Political polarization, entrenched interests, sometimes even external influences can make it challenging to achieve a unified approach. Ultimately, it's a complex process that requires goodwill, patience, and concerted effort from all parties involved.
Why is there no trust between government and opposition?
The lack of trust between government and opposition often stems from a combination of factors. Political rivalry and differing ideologies can create a deep sense of competition and suspicion. Accusations of corruption, lack of transparency, and the politicization of key institutions further erode confidence. Additionally, past conflicts, lack of effective communication, and sometimes even external influences can deepen the divide. All these elements combined make it challenging to build mutual trust and foster collaboration.
Why are political decisions made hastily?
Political decisions are often made hastily for a few reasons. One major factor is the pressure of time-sensitive issues such as crises or urgent public demands, which can push leaders to act quickly. Additionally, political pressures such as the need to maintain public support or to outmaneuver opponents can lead to rushed decisions. Moreover, sometimes there's a lack of through deliberation due to political agendas or the desire for quick results. All these factors combined can sometimes compromise the quality and depth of decision making.
Why are parliament traditions weakening?
Parliamentary traditions can weaken for several reasons. One common factor is the increasing polarization and partisan politics, which can lead to the erosion of mutual respect and collaborative practices. Additionally, external influences such as media pressures or lobbying can sometimes undermine traditional norms. Another factor is the rapid pace of modern politics, where quick decision making sometimes takes precedence over maintaining long-standing customs. Over time, these elements can gradually erode the integrity of parliamentary traditions.
Why isn't national unity the national unity is sacrificed for politics, and why is there lack and true leadership in Pakistan?
National unity can sometimes be overlooked in politics due to various factors, such as political polarization, regional interests, and partisan agendas that prioritize short-term gains over long-term cohesion. Additionally, a lack of trust among different political groups and sometimes even external influences can further weaken the sense of national solidarity. As for the lack of true leadership in Pakistan, it can be attributed to factors like political instability, entrenched interests, and sometimes a lack of effective institutions that can nurture and support visionary leaders. Furthermore, socioeconomic challenges and the complexity of governance can sometimes make it difficult for strong unifying leadership to emerge. Ultimately, it's a complex interplay of these factors.
Why have political parties become family based?
Political parties often become family-based due to a combination of historical, cultural, and structural factors. Often established political dynasties maintain influence over time, passing leadership roles from one generation to the next. This can be due to the consolidation of power, the ability to mobilize resources, and the cultivation of loyal support bases. Additionally, cultural factors and the perception of trust and continuity within families can strengthen these ties. Over time, this dynamic can create a kind of political inheritance, making it harder for new voices to emerge. Ultimately, it's a blend of tradition, power dynamics, and sometimes a lack of institutional reforms.
Who is family-based political parties in Pakistan are named list?
In Pakistan, several political parties have been historically associated with prominent political families. Some notable examples include one, Pakistan People's Party, PPP. This party's been led by the Bhutto family, with figures like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Benazir Bhutto, and Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. To Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz. This party is closely associated with the Sharif family, including Nawaz Sharif and Shehbaz Sharif. And Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, while relatively newer, PTI has also seen prominent family involvement, such as Imran Khan and his close associates. Awami National Party, ANP. This party has been influenced by the Wali Khan family and other prominent political figures in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. These family ties often shape the party's leadership, decision-making, and political strategies.
Why is a political training absent?
Political training often faces challenges for several reasons. One major factor is the lack of structured programs or resources that are accessible to a broad range of individuals. Additionally, political training can be hindered by a lack of institutional support or funding. Another reason is the that political environments can sometimes be resistant to change, making it difficult to implement new training methods or curricula. Moreover, political biases and agendas can sometimes influence the quality and objectivity of the training. Ultimately, creating effective political training requires comprehensive support, resources, and a commitment to impartial education.
How solve this problem?
That's a great point. Addressing these challenges usually requires a multifaceted approach. It can involve strengthening institutional frameworks, providing adequate funding and resources, promoting unbiased and comprehensive curricula, and encouraging a culture of open dialogue and continuous learning. Ultimately, fostering a more robust and effective political training system is key to building better governance and leadership. If you have any specific areas you'd like to explore further, just let me know.
Okay. Why are party tickets not given on merit? This why and main reason and this and how to solve as benefit.
Party tickets often aren't given purely on merit for a few reasons. One major factor is political loyalty, where party leaders prioritize candidates who are loyal to them or have strong connections rather than those who might be most qualified. Another reason is the influence of local power brokers or factions within the party who might push for their own preferred candidates. Additionally, sometimes party decisions are influenced by electability, funding capacity, or regional considerations rather than just merit. To solve this, parties can implement more transparent and structured candidate selection processes. This can include merit-based evaluations, open interviews, and feedback from party members and the public. Encouraging internal democracy and accountability can help ensure that the best candidates are selected, ultimately leading to stronger and more effective leadership.
Why do leaders become disconnected from people?
Leaders can become disconnected from the people for a variety of reasons. One common factor is the growing gap between political elites and the general public, often caused by limited communication or lack of understanding of everyday challenges. Additionally, when leaders are influenced by special interests, they may prioritize those interests over the needs of the general population. Another factor can be a lack of regular engagement with constituents, leading to a sense of isolation or detachment. Over time, this disconnect can trust and make it harder for leaders to effectively address public concerns. Ultimately, maintaining open lines of communication and staying attuned to the needs of the public are key to bridging that gap.
Why do parties ignore public issue?
Parties sometimes ignore public issues for a few reasons. One major factor is political priorities, where parties focus more on issues that benefit their own political agendas or electoral prospects rather than addressing the public's immediate concerns. Additionally, sometimes parties are influenced by special interest groups or powerful lobbies, which can lead them to overlook broader public needs. Another factor can be the complexity or difficulty of certain issues, making them less appealing for quick political gains. Ultimately, the disconnect can arise from a combination of strategic interests, resource constraints, and sometimes a lack of genuine engagement with the public.
Why has money become dominant in politics?
Money's become dominant in politics for several reasons. One key factor is that political campaigns require substantial funding for things like advertising, outreach, and organizing events. And this often leads candidates to rely heavily on donors. Additionally, political influence is sometimes exerted through financial contributions, which can shape policy decisions and create a cycle where money begets more influence. Furthermore, the cost of running for office and maintaining a political presence often necessitates fundraising, which can lead to a reliance on wealthy donors or special interests. Ultimately, this dynamic can sometimes overshadow the voices of ordinary citizens, making it challenging for less affluent candidates or grassroots movements to compete effectively.
Why has political become as a business interest of service?
Political processes can sometimes resemble business interests because of the significant resources involved and the way power and influence are often treated as commodities. For instance, campaign funding, lobbying, and political endorsements can sometimes mirror business transactions where influence and access are exchanged for financial support. Additionally, political leaders and parties sometimes prioritize their own interests or those of their benefactors, much like businesses do, which can lead to policies that benefit certain groups rather than the public at large. Ultimately, when politics becomes more transactional, it can sometimes compromise the public good, make it more about profit and power than service and representation.
Okay, thank you, ChatGPT, and this topic related discussion.
You're very welcome. I'm glad we could chat about these topics. If you have any more questions or want to dive into anything else in the future, just let me know. Have a great day.
तो थैंक यू ChatGPT। जिन ये था आज एक हमारा पार्ट 5 जिसमें हमारे डिस्कशन में जिनकी रेत है बात करते आपसे होगी मुलाकात तब तक रखिएगा। अल्लाह हाफिज़।